Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to her grace Sridevi Mataji. Welcome to His Holiness Candramauli Swami daily call. And today session will be led by her grace Sridevi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to you.
Please accept mine. I am so sorry that I misunderstood the time and thought it was 1 hour later.
No problem, Mataji. Thank you for adjusting and being flexible. So,
should I join again as Sridevi Dasi? Because it looks like my hosting ID is still on.
that's fine, Mataji. That's fine. Continue. That's fine.
Okay. So please accept my humble obeisances, dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our wonderful Gurudev. Would you kindly pull up that verse, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
11:19 for us to, there we go. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Praeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, verse number 19, where we are talking about Krishna returning to Dwarka and the most heartfelt welcome that is being offered to Krishna by so many different varieties of living entities, not just the people, but everything is filled with delight just to see their Lord again. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:11-19 goes like this. Vara mukhyascha shatasho yanaistadarshanotsukah lasat kundala nirbhata kapolavadana shriyaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Purport. We may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood herewith that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dwarka where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encouraged illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions, and if there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. Sri Bilva Mangal Thakur, a great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnav sect, in his householder life was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. One night, when the Thakur came to Chintamani's house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilva Mangal that his attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for the Thakur, and he took a turn towards spiritual realization by the words of a prostitute. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master, and in several places of his literary works, he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:32, the Lord says, O son of Pritha, even the low-born Chandals and those who are born in a family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service, there are no impediments due to degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow it. It appears that the prostitutes of Dwarka, who were so eager to meet the Lord, were all his unalloyed devotees, and thus they were all on the path of salvation, according to the above version of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizens into devotees of the Lord and thus all good qualities of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualifications whatsoever, however they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further entanglement in material bondage. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. Is that the end of the purport? I cannot see.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we can see over here that not just Krishna's father and mother and immediate relatives, but all the citizens, including the prostitutes, came rushing out to meet the Lord. And here Srila Prabhupada gives a very, very graphic description of how beautiful the prostitutes were and how they were also important members of society. Now, this might seem very contradictory, that how Srila Prabhupada is saying prostitutes are also necessary in society for the proper upkeep of society, for the smooth running of society. You might say, what is this? Prostitutes, they are so degraded and they are so, they indulge in, it's considered a very ignoble profession and so on. So how is it that Srila Prabhupada is saying that prostitutes are necessary? So he goes on to explain that government opens wine shops. This does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. They provide these wine shops because otherwise people will make illicit liquor, and bootlegging has been known to cause deaths in people. It has caused blindness in people because the hooch, as it is called, or whatever low methods of making alcohol, they're actually very dangerous for health. And many times in India, you read reports of, 15 people went to the liquor den and then next morning they were blind, or several people died after drinking illicit liquor. And so what the government does, all right, people are going to drink anyway, so just let us provide them liquor, which is at least not going to kill them. It'll kill them in another way through liver cirrhosis, but that's a different story. So when Srila Prabhupada is saying that prostitutes are necessary, it is because of the propensity of man to lust after more than one woman. There will always be people who are not self-controlled, and they will then spoil the young girls of society. They will disrupt marriages, and this is happening everywhere. They will prey on other men's wives and cause disturbances and havoc actually in marriage of a legitimately married man and woman. When we see this happening so much now. So in order to provide for the lusty propensities of men not to disturb other people's marriages, Srila Prabhupada is writing like this, that these men were allowed to go and satisfy their lusty propensities by visiting prostitutes, who then could maintain themselves and their children and so on, because these women had no protection, had no one. So they had adopted this profession. There was a big protest recently in America by sex workers. They are called sex workers. They said sex work is also work. We also need benefits. We also need this. We also need that. And then on further inquiry, they had a legitimate claim because this is also their profession. And they are providing some service to society through these means. We may think, oh, what a low profession it is. What a, bad profession it is. But it's a profession. And Srila Prabhupada says, by tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society. So sometimes hapless women who have no protection in society, no one to help them, no means to earn a livelihood, they will adopt this profession for survival. When there's no food on the table, there's no place, no shelter, and you have to support yourself. Many women become prey to pimps on the streets or predators who are looking for such innocent and unprotected young girls, young women. Why? Because they need shelter, they need food, and the pimp uses this helpless situation of that young girl or young woman to make them into prostitutes. This is happening. That is why society needs, especially the men folk, need to take their duties towards their children so seriously. It is abandoned wives and children who have to turn to these ignoble professions. So actually, society will not have unprotected women and children if men do their duties. Of taking good care of their dependents, of following the rules and regulations, of providing nicely for the wife and children, of seeing to it that they're emotionally, spiritually, financially, socially, educationally well protected on all sides, so that nobody can harm them, nobody can exploit them, nobody can cheat them, nobody can illegally use their bodies for their own sense gratification. Actually, all these things happen in society simply because man is becoming more and more and more degraded. And therefore, all these things are happening. But even such prostitutes can become great devotees of the Lord if they take to devotion and service. Triyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Param Gatim, highest destination. Can we go to that verse, Vrindavan Nath Prabhu? I think it's 932. It is also mentioned in the purport that I'm not sure of the exact number. I think it is 932. Triyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. Those who are, yes, there we go. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syu papayonayaha Sriyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. And what is that translation? O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas and Shudras can attain the supreme destination. And here, everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that even the lowest, who are called Chandals, dog eaters, can be purified by association with a pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and the guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there's no discrimination between the lower and higher classes of men. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. So Chandals means dog eaters. They're considered the lowest among mankind, because who eats dogs? It's the worst possible food to eat. But even those who eat dogs, they can be elevated to the highest perfection of life. Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, association of those born in sinful families is not accepted by higher classes. But the process of devotional service is so strong that the pure devotee of the Supreme Lord can enable people of all the lower classes to attain the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna, as indicated here by the word Vyapashritya. One has to take shelter. Can we go below? I cannot see further. Vyapashritya. Where is that now? Yeah, one has to take shelter completely of Krishna. Then one can become much greater than great jnanis and yogis. So Srila Prabhupada explains that in the city of Dwarka, there were many hundreds of prostitutes. We can go back to the purport, Vrindavan Nath Prabhu. But all of them were great devotees of the Lord. Even 5,000 years ago, they were prostitutes. And they were great devotees of the Lord. But they were on the right path because ultimately they were going to get salvation. And Srila Prabhupada also gives a very beautiful example how consciousness is the most important thing. Gives the example of a prostitute and a greatly learned scholar of the Vedas living, like close to each other. So every day, this very scholarly, very Vedic learned Brahmin would look at that prostitute and say, "Chi, chi, chi, look at this prostitute. What a dirty profession she's engaged in. I don't want to be like that. What a great sinner she is. Oh, my Lord, please help me, save me from such a degraded birth." Like this, he would constantly be meditating on the sins of the prostitute. While the prostitute, on the other hand, would keep on saying, "My dear Lord, I am so miserable. What to do out of helplessness? I have to take to this profession of being a prostitute. But look at this wonderful Brahmana, how pure he is, how fixed he is, how wonderfully he is worshipping you. My dear Lord, please help me to become like this nice Brahmana who is a great devotee of you." And Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain that she went on to go back to Krishna while he just took birth as a prostitute. So we should not look down. The point I'm trying to make is we should never look down on anyone. Anyone. Anyone can become a great devotee of the Lord before our very eyes. We might think, "Oh my God, I just saw that little kid, 10 years ago, he was running around. And today, look at him. He's a big preacher. He's going around giving nice classes all over the world. He's Amarendra Prabhu or whoever, all these big, big preachers." We don't know who is taking birth in our movement, where they are going to go, what is their previous, pious credits they have, what they have done in previous lifetimes, how Krishna will empower them. We don't know these things. A simple little child might go on to become a great preacher. A simple homemaker might turn out to be a pure devotee of the Lord. Some little old lady whom we don't really know or see, quietly they may be doing their service, but their hearts may be so pure that they are destined for the highest destination, going back home to Krishna. So we have no idea about different spirit souls in different bodies. What is their consciousness, where they're going to go, how elevated they are. So we should not get fooled by the externals. Somebody may be very rich and powerful, but internally they may be very, very sinful. Somebody may be rich and powerful and they may be very great devotees of the Lord, like Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And Gadadhar Pandit first saw him, he said, "Oh, what a sense gratifier. He's sitting with such opulence surrounding him, and he's, scented oils and, oil in his hair and very nice silken fine clothes and twirling his mustache and surrounded by servants and sitting on silken cushions and this and that." But when Mukunda Goswami spoke the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam, extolling the mercy of Krishna, how can I take shelter of one more merciful than he who gave the position of mother to Putana the witch? Pundarik Vidyanidhi went into such ecstasy that for 6 hours he completely lost external consciousness. He was wrecking the furniture, throwing things, breaking things, turning everything upside down. 6 servants could not restrain him, is the description that is given. So he was externally looking like a big sense gratifier, internally pure devotee of the Lord. Similarly, a very poor, humble-looking person may be a pure devotee, or a poor, poor, disheveled, unkempt-looking person may actually be a very sinful person. We don't know. So externals are not the criterion. Krishna knows our heart, and Krishna knows the heart of every living entity. So even a prostitute can become a pure devotee. So Srila Prabhupada explains that everyone, therefore, should be induced to become devotees of the Lord, because this is the path towards perfection. Let's go to the second paragraph of this purport. Shri Vrindavanath Prabhu, please. Bilva Mangal Thakur This is another great example. He was overly attached to Chintamani. And one night, stormy night, actually the description goes that his father had just died and he could barely restrain himself. Even after the funeral, he wanted to go and visit a prostitute. And he crossed the foamy river. There was a big storm. It was a black night. Nothing could be seen. Rain, thunderstorm, lightning, this, that. And he crossed the river thinking a corpse is a log of wood. Then he crossed the river like that. He reached the other shore. He saw what he thought was a rope. It was actually a snake. Because it was such a thundering night, prostitute had closed up all the doors, windows, everything, and was inside the house. He crossed over the courtyard into the house by climbing up a snake, thinking it's a rope, and knocked on the door. And she was shocked to see on such a horrible night, how come somebody has come? And when she opened the door, she saw this person coming as a customer, as a client. And she said to him, I am so astonished. If you have this much affection for Krishna, where would you be instead of this lump of flesh and bone? And Bilva Mangal Thakur, who had actually fallen and become very degraded, suddenly remembered his spiritual master, because actually it was his spiritual master Somagiri speaking through this Chintamani. And immediately the words went deep into his heart. He remembered what is really human life meant for. And he turned back towards the path of devotional service. It was a very, very defining moment for him. And then he wrote beautiful works glorifying Krishna, in which he acknowledged Chintamani as a spiritual master. That much respect he gave, because she spoke the words that liberated him. And we just saw 932, where a very clear description is given that there are no impediments due to degraded birth and occupation. If we very sincerely take shelter of the pure devotee, he is Chintamani. He can turn even a lump of iron into gold. Simply by one moment's association. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kaya. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Even 1/11th of a moment's association of a pure devotee can give highest perfection of life. So see how important it is for us to take complete shelter of the pure devotee and make our life successful. Because only through the mercy of the pure devotee can we traverse this path of bhakti and attain to the kingdom of God. It's not possible any other way. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Only one who is free can free us. Only one who is unbound can unbind us. We are shackled by the modes of material nature, and only he can free us. That is why every day we meditate on the lotus feet of the spiritual master in the Guru Vandanam prayers. It's such a beautiful prayer. The lotus feet of the spiritual master are the abode of pure devotional service. I bow down to those lotus feet with great care and attention. My dear brothers, my dear mind, it is by the grace of the spiritual master that we can cross this material existence and attain Krishna. What is the next thing he's saying? Make the words emanating from the lotus mouth of our spiritual master one with your heart and do not desire anything else. Attachment to his lotus feet is the best means of spiritual advancement. His mercy fulfills all desires for spiritual perfection. He who has given us the gift of transcendental vision is our Lord, birth after birth. It is by his mercy that divine knowledge is revealed within our hearts, destroying ignorance and bestowing pure love for Krishna. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. O spiritual master, O ocean of mercy, O friend of the fallen, O life of all people, O universal teacher, alas, alas, O master, please be merciful unto us and please give us the shade of your lotus feet. Narottam Das is singing this to his Guru Dev Lokanath Goswami. But it is true for all of us, isn't it? That is why every day morning we sing these prayers, meditating on the lotus feet of Guru Dev, because these are the only lotus feet which will help us to cross over the ocean of material existence. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, as Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, the only reformation that is needed in society, make everyone into devotees. Make everyone into devotees. Let all the citizens come on to the path of devotional service and engage in bhakti and finally begin their journey back home, back to Godhead. And therefore, devotees very mercifully all over the world, they're holding this Hari Nam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and helping people to understand the real value of the human form of life by giving books, distributing pamphlets, distributing literature, encouraging people to come to temple, explaining to them, you are not this body, your eternal spirit soul, eternal, blissful, full of knowledge. That's who you really are. Don't keep suffering again and again by taking birth in this material world, but begin your journey back home, back to Godhead by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And now the world is more than ready to receive the message of Lord Chaitanya. People have become so desperate for real answers. People are so jaded by all the rubbish that is going on. And people are just filled with fear about the future, about the present, because they're seeing how the leaders are failing them, how the government is falling apart, how they are being more and more taxed, and how they are being exploited, all for 2 chapatis and a little roof above your head and some clothes on your back. We are becoming wage slaves, literally. We are just becoming prisoners of the system because they are extracting more and more and more work from us and giving us less and less in return. So this is a very skewed system of living where living entities are losing the chance to attain the perfection of life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead, because they are being burdened with so much just to live, just to have food, just to have clothes, just to have some means of shelter. People are being exploited so much. But this is not how society should be governed. This is not how people should live. This real leadership means teaching people how to become self-realized, understand who they are, and engage in loving service to the Lord. The criterion of advancement of civilization, just see how Srila Prabhupada so authoritatively is saying this in that last paragraph of the purport. Maybe we can go little below. Yes, the criterion of advancement of civilization is where the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. Today, what people are advanced and educated about? Video games, video this, video that, how to do this, how to do that online, how to get that, how to, find this online, how to buy things online, everything online. And advancement is considered how great you are at doing this job. This is considered advancement. Or any other profession. Oh, so-and-so is a great surgeon, so-and-so is a great this, great that. But this is all Jad Vidya, Shilpa Vidya. We can get a livelihood, but we will not get a life. People say get a life. What is it? Get a life. Get real life. Drink real nectar. And how can we do that? By engaging in the process of bhakti, we will reawaken the love that is already there in the hearts of all living entities. It is present. It just needs to be awakened more. And that happens when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The tongue has only 2 businesses. Srila Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna, take Krishna Prasadam. and engage in the process of bhakti under the guidance of the pure devotee spiritual master, get rid of anarthas, become fixed in devotional service, actually start getting sweet taste, ruchi. We want to taste real honey, not keep licking the outside of the glass bottle. That will not give us any taste. So engaging in the process of bhakti will help our tongue, which is now coated with avidya, to actually taste the sweetness of the holy name, taste the sweetness of bhakti. Right now we are so much deceived because we are in a material condition, we are contaminated, we are conditioned. Because of so much contact with material energy, we have forgotten everything. So the spiritual master comes, wake up! Wake up, spirit souls! See where you are, but who you really are. And Srila Prabhupada would say to his disciples, if at all you feel indebted to me, then preach as vigorously as I do. So this is actually a mandate for all of us. Aren't we grateful to Srila Prabhupada for coming to save us? So this injunction is for each and every devotee of this Hare Krishna movement, not just Srila Prabhupada's immediate disciples, but grand disciples, great-grand disciples, great-great-grand disciples for the next 10,000 years. There's a golden age within this age of Kali. So Hare Krishna movement is going to spread more, and inundate the whole world with Krishna consciousness, with pure love of God. And everyone who is in the movement will become very blissful, very happy, and make their way back home, back to Krishna. So thank you all very much for listening so patiently. We can now open up for comments, questions, discussion, corrections.
Thank you, Mataji, for nicely summarizing and also highlighting the importance of spiritual master and Harinam and holy name. And of course, as you rightly mentioned, that for a devotee, it doesn't matter whether person is like externally what person is, but what matters is what's going on inside of that person. Yeah, and it's important. And I really remember one of the time when Mataji, somebody mentioned, one Maharaj mentioned that if like devotee should even not have single what I say, like no least amount of any ego. Yeah, that I am a devotee, I am doing this, and if he or she sees somebody in front, that okay, he or she is a butcher or such lowly person. Yeah, and you feel like you are a bit puffed up by doing your service, and then that person is also low, because anything may happen in a next moment. You may
Yes.
fall down completely, and that butcher comes in association with a devotee who completely changed their mind, like that happened in Bilva Mangal Thakur. So anything can happen. So rather than thinking about others, that who is other person, we should focus on our sadhana, and of course, like preaching, as you rightly said, Prabhupada said, do the preaching. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much for highlighting and stressing all the critical messages. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any questions, comments, realization, please do unmute yourself. And if you would like to type, then I can read on your behalf. And also request all of you, if you can please switch on your video if possible. It's really nice to see everyone. Thank you. Yes, Alka Mataji, please go ahead. Mataji, you're on mute. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Sridevi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glorious to His Holiness Candramauli Maharaj. All glorious to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada. All glory to our Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sridevi Mataji, I have one question. Like, normally in ISKCON, we always use word devotee and non-devotees. They are non-devotees. It's always bugging me why we are using. they are non-devotees. We shouldn't go near to the non-devotee. In a workplace, we have to keep distance with non-devotee. So what exactly non-devotee means? Are they, it's just like not following ISKCON, or how do we think that way?
Actually, everyone, really speaking, is a devotee of the Lord. Some know it, some don't know it. But the non-devotees are so covered by the material energy that they are running after fruitive gain. They have forgotten who they really are, and they are busily trying to gain things of this material world. We call them materialists. They are engaged in hard labor for gaining this, for gaining that, for fulfilling this desire, for their sense gratification, doing so many things. But actually, human life is meant to reconnect to Krishna and understand that I'm nothing but a servant of Krishna and engage in loving service to Krishna. So we therefore distinguish between non-devotees because they are rebellious. They will not submit to the authority of God. They are engaged in personal sense gratification. That means their plans are more important than anything else. They will not submit to the authority of a spiritual master, and therefore they will take birth after birth after birth, because they are not interested in devotional service. They're not interested in surrendering. The main difference between devotee is he has surrendered to the spiritual master, to the process of bhakti. The non-devotees do not surrender. It doesn't mean they'll never surrender, but because the material energy is so powerful and they're still captured by the glittering energy of the material energy, now they're still captured by the allure of the material energy, they run after the things of this world. Devotee may be working in the office, but after hours, devotee will want to run home and make some nice offering for the Lord, will want to engage in kirtan or reading or do some service. Well, what the non-devotee, the day is over. Now I can go shopping. Now I can go to the mall. Now I can go and see a cinema. Now I can go to the theater. Now, personal sense gratification is the topmost thing for them. While devotee wants to gratify the senses of Krishna. That is the main difference between devotee and non-devotee. You're on mute again, Alkaji.
Thank you, Mataji. But sometimes I feel like prostitute, they can be good devotee, which we can't see. And the same way workplace, sometimes we say and they say, we are following, we do this. So no, that's fine. It's a non-devotee means they are after material things more than devotee. Isn't it? Is it?
Not, you can't compare and say more than devotee. They are not interested in serving the Lord. They are interested in serving self-interest. That means their own plans, their own desires, their own sense gratification is the topmost.
Yeah.
Well, for devotee, Krishna is the topmost. That is the main difference.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not a question of they are more interested, we are less interested. We may also have some mixed desires, but our main desire is to please Krishna. We may still harbor material desires, but we have come to the right understanding of who we are. We are servant of Krishna. Das or Dasi. Every devotee knows, who am I? Servant of Krishna. Who am I? Servant of Krishna. Who am I? Servant of Krishna. Well, consider that. I am the master. I am the enjoyer. I am the proprietor. I own everything. I own this house. I own this car. I own this. I own that. Well, devotee says, this is Krishna's house. This is Krishna's car. Krishna has given me this facility so that I can serve my family nicely, serve the devotees nicely. He's always cognizant of the supremacy of the Lord. While the non-devotees, they're always cognizant, thinking they are supreme.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That is why we are encouraged not to mix too much with them, because we'll again get infected with that mentality. If we mix up too much with non-devotees, our devotional service will get spoiled. Our devotional life will get spoiled. The first principle, Asat Sanga Tyaga, A Vaishnav Achar. Lord Chaitanya advised Sanatan Goswami when he said, what is the first thing of the Vaishnava must learn? To give up the association of non-devotees, because that will spoil our mentality and may again tempt us to become karmis again.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotee. If you have any further questions, please do unmute yourself. Nice topic.
Hare Krishna, Sridevi. Thank you very much for your lecture. It was very interesting. Thank you so much. I hope you will come back soon.
Yes, I'm coming back on Monday, my dear Tirtha Kirti, and I have a little gift from the retreat for you.
Oh, that's nice. I'm looking forward. I'm happy. Happy to see you back.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sridevi. Thank you.
Thank you, Tirtha Kirti. I'm also looking forward to seeing you, spending time with you. And I think, anyway, when we meet, we can talk some more. I think we should meet regularly and read something from Guru Maharaj's daily drops of nectar, or discuss Krishna Katha, Guru Katha, and enliven each other like that.
Hare Krishna, Braj Bilasni Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, all Guru Srila Prabhupada and all Guru Guru Maharaj.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Braj Vilasini. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our wonderful Gurudev.
Thank you, Mataji. That's wonderful class. So I have a question about, I don't know, weird question. And I was always thinking that, like, this is the Kali Yuga, and we always hearing this, so you have to preach to the others, not do whatever you have to preach. And I was thinking, like, even the Parikshit Maharaj, when the Kali Yuga was entering, and he even cannot stop it, and Kali Yuga finally came, and now we are forwarding to the, like, more deep in Kali Yuga, you know. So I was thinking, like, how should we encourage others, like, to, like, you know, preaching is the main thing. I know the Sankirtan is main thing, but still, like, we should, like, go for that one, or we have to, like, more, like, attention in our own sadhana. So what do you think about it? I'm like, you know.
No, it's a very good question. How should we become instruments of change for society? Yes, we may not be able to do big things, but whatever small things we can do, we can try for that. For example, just being a nice person in the office makes a difference. Just be calm, cool, collected, serene, not in the mode of passion or ignorance, but trying as much as possible to stay in the mode of goodness, also will have an impact on all your office colleagues or whoever you're with. Neighbors will notice, your office people will notice, the bus driver will notice, the railway station people around you who catch the train every day, everybody will see that here's a person who is different. They do not react like other people. They do not cuss and swear and scream at the slightest provocation. They remain tolerant of difficulties. They are kind to everyone. They're compassionate to everyone. Simply the presence of a devotee sanctifies everything. Never forget that you're a devotee and your presence makes a difference. That's one. Second, of course, in the workplace, we can't take, gongs and bumpers and start boom, 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 boom. That's not permitted, and that will give a very poor impression of, because certain things are to be done in certain places. But on our computer screen or, in our workplace, we can keep little pictures of Krishna. We can, have a soft Maha Mantra playing in our ears without disturbing others so that we remain protected. Then we can offer prasadam in the lunch break, coffee break, whatever it is. Oh, this Mataji bakes such nice cookies. I remember when I was a student, I couldn't talk about Krishna. There was no question. It was a university where everyone prided themselves on scientific talk. I could not say the word Krishna. It was such torture for me. But I could distribute prasadam. So every chance I got, I would carry a big bunch of cookies, and within no time they were demolished. They were all gone. So I knew spirit people are for Krishna's mercy. So all the opportunities I got to distribute prasadam, I would take them. Any little gathering of students, any fiesta, any event, any pretext where people were coming together, I would carry something because I knew there will be food and people can take prasadam. So I'd always have some prasadam ready on hand. Then when we are driving to work, I like to keep little packets of prasadam because, at traffic lights, the homeless people are there and so many, ways to give out little prasadam packets, some mercy, mantra cards and everything. So that way we can carry things with us in our purse and on the train, in the bus, wherever we are going, we can carry and distribute prasadam like that. So in small ways, we can make a difference in this world. We cannot all be big, GBC, sannyasi, temple president, and all that. All not possible for every one of us. We are very small. But in our own small way, we can make a difference. You see? So desire to please Krishna is pleasing to Krishna. And he will give you ideas how to do more. You see, I would always wear tilak to work. Even when I was, in the US and going to work, I would never wear Western style clothes. I would always wear more Indian looking. I never wore pants, never. First and foremost, I find it very objectionable because I think it's very unchaste, that style of dress and everything. But what to do, But I never wore, I was lucky enough, I would always wear long skirts and flowing blouses and things. So they always knew. Oh, my boss would tell me, I went to the shopping center and today I saw Lakshmi style skirt. She would know that this is, my dress. I would always wear tilak. So curious people would ask, what is this? And I would get a chance to explain, this is Krishna. This body is a temple. It reminds me that my body is to be used in service. It would become actually a preaching opportunity because people became very curious. What is this face paint? What is this white thing on your forehead? And I would explain little bit about Krishna. And I would say, this is Krishna. They would say, Krishna? And I would be so happy because they have said the word Krishna. So like this in parking lots, people will stop and ask questions, or you can give out, quietly some books. Always carry books, little packets. I would carry little dry prasadam, like raisins, nuts, things like that, that doesn't spoil. So tiny Ziploc bags, you can fill it up and always keep it in your purse. And believe me, there are so many people who are desperate for Krishna's mercy. They will just take it. We just have to look for opportunities and Krishna will show. When we take one step towards Krishna, he takes many steps towards us.
Right. Yeah. So at my work, because I cannot distribute the book, but I have a books, and they have a laundry room. So I keep it in a laundry room. I keep small books, like 4 or 5 books in the laundry room, and patients comes or visitors comes, whoever comes, and I seen it like every weekly basis. I check it out. This book is still there or missing, and I see it is missing it, and then I replace again. So it must be someone's taking it or something.
Book distribution ki jai.
So that's how I cannot preach and distribute the book, but that's what I just do it. I said, okay, I'm going to put it over there, and let's see whoever's interested, take it or read it or whatever,
Wonderful. This is actually wonderful. Actually, book distribution is real preaching because Prabhupada said, what will your 3 minutes preaching do? But if he gets a book, his life is changed.
That's right.
Very powerful preaching. Don't think for a minute that this is something small. It is very pleasing to Krishna. And you're putting the books there is actually probably helping save people's lives because we don't know. The condition of patients today is very terrible. They're in such pain and distress that simply by reading a book, you might prevent them from committing suicide. We don't know. So it can actually be a big difference in some person's life just to get a book. So that is great service and that is great preaching. Jai ho.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Keep going, Brajavilasini. You're a spiritual warrior.
You have to bless me.
Hari bol.
Hari bol, Hare Krishna.
Praying for you, I pray for you, and I will continue to pray for you. That's all I can
Thank
do.
you.
Mercy.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
all.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I don't know whether I talk too much when I answer questions. You'll have to tell me if I'm overly talking, Vrindavan Nath Prabhu. I need to learn to speak more concisely, perhaps.
No, Mataji, you are perfect. Everybody is so happy. That's the sign. See the smile on Braj Vilasni Mataji face. That's it.
I am happy. And I'm happy to see her happy.
And you have given her such encouragements. What more devotee needs, really?
Please bless me to do more and more of nice service to please Gurudev, to please Vaishnav, to please Prabhupada, and get rid of my anarthas. That's my humble plea to you. Please pray for me and give me blessings. I'm a beggar. I need everyone's mercy here.
I'm number one in the queue, Mataji, of the begging for the mercy.
No, you can't take that. You can't take my position. No breaking the line. I came first.
Yes, that's true. Like as a aspiring devotee, we all need to pray for each other welfare. We all can really hold our hand together. This is the ultimate motive of this life, that we hold our hands together and then hold our Guru lotus feet together, and then just like go to the real place together, and then just, I think that's the whole purpose of this, what Prabhupada has really established so nicely, this the whole
Yes.
movement. So
Yes. So
thank you,
true.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Looks like, Mataji, no further questions. So we are just dot time. So maybe if, with your permission, if we can close this call.
Yes. I'm very grateful to you, Prabhu, for your nice hosting. I'm very grateful to all the Vaishnavas who patiently waited. I am so sorry. I messed up the time. I thought it was 9 o'clock here rather than 7 o'clock. So that was my mistake. And my apologies for coming on late.
Mataji, I will take this as a positive sign, because see how flexible you are in. Seriously, I'm saying from my heart. See, like you were preparing yourself for 9 a.m. But like knowing that, okay, time has changed from this week, you just accepted and kept yourself ready. So this is like a good sign of Vaishnava only. Seriously. So thank you very much for really giving this nice and accepting all this. Thank you very, very much, Mataji. And
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Ki
Guru
jai.
Maharaj ki jai,
Jai.
Harge Sridevi Mataji ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Brind ki jai.
Ki jai.
Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnav Sadhu Sangha ki jai, my wonderful God family ki jai, jai, jai.
Vanchikalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu
Patitana Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo Namah. Ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.